climbing games. This is a genre that has kinda gone under the radar and only the last couple of years really started to blossom. I mean, you have platformers, maybe 2D or 3D, which can still be a lot of fun, but that simplicity of climbing specifically is something that is heavily overlooked in my eyes, which is a shame. When you mention climbing video games, most people will probably think of these two games, but there is a whole nother bucket of awesome and very fun fleshed out climbing games out there that you simply need to check out. This genre is heavily underappreciated. One of my personal favorite climbing games is called Peaks of Yore. Seriously, this game is incredibly good, and if you don't buy it, I'm gonna start doing things I can't speak about on YouTube. In Peaks of Yore, your goal is to simply climb mountains to collect stamps. Each level is basically a rock or a mountain you need to conquer, and climbing in this game is very physics-based. You have to swing yourself from rock to rock with enough momentum. It starts off really simple with a basic chunky rock, but over time the mountains get more tricky. They start introducing different types of holds like moving tree branches or shrubs you have to sweep away. Then the rocks turn into basic structures, pillars, cliff sides, and by the end you will be climbing giant stone walls that tower over you. The final mountains in this game just make you poop your pants. They are so daunting. Seeing the Great Gaul for the first time and then realizing that this leap of faith right here is only the halfway point, like, it changes a man to say least. You'd think that a game like this would be very mean and rage-inducing, but Peaks of Yore's tone is very calm and uplifting, taking place in the quiet countryside of Scotland. Most of your time climbing, you are accompanied by nothing but the winds, but here and there they do sprinkle in the occasional character that helps you out by giving items or even a boost. It is such an intense feeling being 15 minutes deep into a climb, looking down at where you started and knowing that if you let go or mess up, you lose all your progress, and then you see some asshole sitting on a rock telling you,
"Looks like you're making good progress on these tines, lad. Well done. I'm just resting and taking in the views for a wee bit."
I love it, man. It is so good. I absolutely adore how encouraging this game's tone is, because it is difficult. Every time you think you've seen it all, it scoops another layer of challenge on top of the pile, forcing you to learn and adapt, and by the end, you will literally be skipping entire levels like it's nothing. Peaks of Yore is probably the best climbing game currently out there. It is such a roller coaster of emotions. You will get mad, you will rage, but you will also find relief and joy. It's like the game says, the climb shows your true character and the peak frees your soul. Who the hell came up with this achievement? Do you want me to suffer? This is stupid. So yeah, Peaks of Yore is very, very good, but it also might be a little too much for some people. The final mountain, the Solemn Tempest, will take you about 5 hours to climb for the first time. That is a scary ass number, so it naturally makes sense that only about 4% of people have actually done it. If you want something that is a little bit more chill, but still packs a decent punch, I recommend checking out Valley Peaks, because in this game you play as a frog. And let's be real for a second, that's the only important part. You might as well throw the rest of it in the garbage bin. Unlike Peaks of Yore, which had very physics-based climbing, Valley Peaks is really stiff in comparison, meaning that when you start grabbing a hold, your character just stops dead in its tracks. You can wiggle around a bit, up, down, left, right, but your arms are basically metal poles, which on paper sounds a bit rough, but this system makes it so that climbing is very quick and to the point. You can wiggle yourself up a mountain like a slippery snake, jumping from hold to hold with ease. The way the game is also laid out is very open-ended. You are dropped in a big map, and around you there are 11 mountains, all with 3 paths to the top. You can see it as a bunch of mini climbs, and most of them are definitely on the easy side. They do do have some obstacles like spikes, crumbling rocks, or these stoplight holes, but even the hardest mountains are like new Super Mario Bros. Level difficult, which, you know, isn't really difficult, let's be honest. The climbing is very fun though, especially once you start doing the speedrun challenges. Zooming to the top of a mountain as fast as possible is a lot of fun. It's just a shame that it kinda gets ruined because of these stupid gadgets. Throughout your playthrough, you will slowly unlock these gadgets, and some of them are rather fun and cute, like a paraglider or a slow-mo watch. But two of them, the C4 and jetpack, are completely broken. They allow you to skip entire mountains with a press of a button, making you skip the entire climbing part of the game. It's stupid. They also littered the map with side missions and collectibles, but one, they don't tell you where they are, so you are just completely lost trying to find the final ones. And two, these side missions are lame as hell. It's garbage like, here is a hat, please bring it to my friend, how about I set you on fire instead? The climbing itself is pretty basic and not that fleshed out, but the simplicity of it is rather enjoyable and satisfying to get good at. This is not a bad game, okay? It is fun. I just wish they focused a bit more on the climbing instead of littering the map with pointless collectibles and side quests that are nothing but a big wet fart. And to be fair, 15 bucks, I mean, that's a pretty damn cheap price in my opinion. But so far, we've talked about climbing games that are very hold-based. You grab rocks or branches that stick out of the wall, but you don't have to do climbing this way per se, which brings us to Lorn's Lure. This game's climbing is very simplistic. You jump towards a wall, press the left mouse button, and that's it. Yeah, like I said, really simple, and you can definitely see this more as a platformer, because throughout your playthrough, you also unlock a bunch of new moves, like a wall jump, dash, and even a grappling hook. While Peaks of Yore and Valley Peaks were also very objective-based, you know, climb the mountain and reap your rewards, Lorn's Lure is all about soaking in the ambience of this alien world you are inhabiting, jumping through its rough yet picturesque scenery. The world here is filled with a heavy amount of dread and mystique, half broken down buildings, pipes that go on for miles, machinery that you don't even understand the purpose of. Yes, it all looks rather crude for sure, but every structure tells a story and it's immensely captivating. In a sense, it kinda reminds me of Rain World, but without all the stupid lizards and centipedes. You get what I mean? The movement of it is also very Source Engine-like in some ways, which always had a certain roughness to it, and Lorn's Lure perfectly imitates it, sometimes even to a fault. It often has parts where it feels a bit too unpolished and poorly thought out, making you keep trying to jump somewhere that doesn't feel right, like you're breaking the game and jumping out of the play area. On one side, this is awesome. It's like you're trying to glitch yourself somewhere where you aren't supposed to be. But on the other side, it can be frustrating trying to redo the same part for the 15th time in a row because you don't fully understand where to go. There isn't a lot more to Lorn's Lure, and if I'm honest, it kinda overstates its welcome, plus the last stage and bonus levels are a complete 180 from what it tries to do before, but I still think it's a lot of fun, and it has a cool ending that kinda snapped everything into place. It does climbing very differently, but I think that's part of the charm of it. Also, look at this guy. He got the YouTube Shorts brain rot. Overall, climbing games have genuinely so much potential, and I think all three of these games are awesome in their own right. They all have rough edges for sure, but the act of climbing, there is something about it that is just so captivating, and reaching the top of a mountain or the end of a level fills you with a feeling that is hard to put into words. I would love to see more climbing games like the ones I mentioned, but this genre is definitely niche. Most people would funnel these games into the platforming category, which, I mean, yeah, that's fair, I understand why, but I still hope that I managed to show why these type of games can be amazing. Peaks of Yore is definitely the best one out of the three, and what's even greater about it is that it is getting a DLC that looks awesome, so go open up your wallet, or bad things will start to happen. Yeah, thanks for watching everyone, subscribe!